This is what it looks like. Person has a problem. The solution is out here. The problem is they live in this box here, this not box in this circle. So they don't know how to get these green dots. It takes time for them to pull them in. What we're doing is creating enough opening so that these can find themselves inside. Our job is not to go out here and pull these green dots and be like, here, have your green dots. That's what we want for them, right? Oh, but you could forgive yourself and not give a shit about what other people think. Well, duh, they already know that. They just don't feel it. They just don't know it. How can they know it inside of them is to create enough opening so that that solution can find them, not so that you can force it down their throat through questions. I'm going to talk about this more on day 3, which is like, how does the strategy call fit into this more conversational, chilled out model? But like, just as a preview, when you have a problem and you call someone to ask them to solve it, what you need to get into this mood of, okay, here's an opening, is you need to be motivated. You need to want the change. So the motivation and this perspective that I'm teaching you today, which I'm gonna fill out a little bit more in theoretical sense of this afternoon, is you need to allow people to be excited and um, to be full of life. That's what will invite the change. Of course, motivation is also required to make money, because no one's going to be paying you if they're not excited for this change. So the motivation has more than one side effect. One is to create opening. One is to create incentive to pay. That seems like selling in a way, but it's not, because in the end, the change is based on this flow. The change is created by, oh, I'm motivated. Now I paid, so I'm committed to be motivated. Now my mind starts to change on its own because I got involved in this process. So we hear all the time this whole idea of like the change begins on the strategy call, and everybody's always asking me, like, well, how do you do that? They haven't even paid yet. I don't care about that because they're going to pay in a minute. And when they do pay, whatever I did on the strategy call is going to pay in triple or quadruple or, in a 10x. So on the strategy call, what I want is to really spike motivation, because then when they hang up that call and they're committed to come change with me, even though they don't think any therapy has happened yet, they're waiting for their visit. Now their mind is thinking, oh, I found someone who will help me change. And if I'm going to get help changing, I should change. And then what does the subconscious do? Because it's highly intelligent. It says, oh, well, now she committed to change. So I should find a solution because I'm going to change. So this motivation is very therapeutic in the sense that we're inviting the subconscious to start the process before the process starts. So motivation is key to change because it's that first invitation or insight into what's going to occur in the sessions. Not every answer reveals a knot. Sometimes a client just reveals something about who they are, something about what they want, something about what's important to them. For example, very easy example. Where is my example? Well, maybe it's another slide, but here's one, that's obvious. Oh, I need to quit smoking so I can run with my children. So one half of the sentence is a problem. Run with my children is what I'm looking forward to. So instead of saying, why is that important to you, or what's stopping you, which would take them into the problem, I could say instead, how will it feel to run with your children? Where do you want to run with them? Why would that be fun for you? Will it be a sunny day or a cold day? Whatever, I don't care. But what I want is for them to realize in their own head, oh, that's fun. I should do that because I really want it, and it will really give me this confetti feeling. I want to run with my children more than I want to stand here and smoke and be embarrassed and not be able to participate. You see how much power that has to solve the problem over let's just dig into the problem? That's where we're going with it. This is me, but it's not really me. But this is what this chick is doing. Is she's like, all right, let's just go for some motivation then, you know? That's the key to not moving through problems through ACH only. Okay, here's a little diet. We're going to get to a demo in like 5 minutes. Here's a little demo. I mean, here's a little image of what I'm talking about. What do people bring to our session? Pain. Every single one of them has pain. They wouldn't be there if they didn't have pain. Sometimes the pain needs therapy. Sometimes the pain needs a question, like, tell me how you got that pain. When did that pain start? Tell me more about it. Where do you feel it? That takes us into ACH. That takes us to their solution through the questioning cycle. That's level 1, ACH. But you see how small this is. And you see also that it tends to be backwards looking. Oh, you have a pain. When did it start? When I was 5. Oh, you have a pain. When did it start? When I got divorced. Oh, you have a fear of flying. Yeah, I got into an accident when I was a kid. It tends to take you back into the pain or into the source of the pain or into the past or into some kind of flashback. But not all progress is made by doing this. Sometimes the pain tells you, hey, I could make a decision that would take me out of this pain. And then instead of going through the pain this way, we can say, oh, would that decision be strong enough to make the pain less? And then they say, yes, it would. Okay, well, then instead of investigating the pain, why don't I just take the free ticket you just gave me and motivate you further in that direction? Motivate you further to make a decision outside of the pain. So then the flow chart goes this way instead of backwards. So what we want is for this to happen as a totality instead of just restrict ourselves to this fiery investigation. I really want to get healthy for my kids because they're my life. Oh, what do you mean they're your life? Oh, I'm happy, I'll be healthier for them and I'll set a better example, but I just struggle with healthy eating. So here, motivation. Here, ACH. Oh, what's stopping you from doing that? So you see how if I motivate before I dig into the pain, now I have more ballast. I have more um, I have more leg to stand on. So the whole experience moving forward now is a much wider range of questions, some of which are positive and forward-looking, some of which are usual ACH questions. And what's nice about this is now we have so many more options. So this is what I'm going to talk about majorly, mainly tomorrow. But what I'm really going for is combining motivation and therapy, not just using ACH all the time. So one question is motivational, one question is therapeutic, 3 questions are therapeutic, 3 questions are motivational. Maybe then I have a half an hour of motivation and then I have some ACH again. So you see the car is much more complex than what you learned in level 1. What's really powerful and beautiful about this is now every conversation you have, whether it's a party, whether it's your boyfriend, whether it's your mom, whether it's over the holidays, when you're going to have 500 conversations, everyone will become motivational and healing because this just becomes who you are. Oh, tell me more about that. Oh, so what's the problem with that? Over time, you'll control it in such a way that people become so motivated to hire you that they don't even realize therapy has begun. That's what I'm going for. When people are on my strategy call and they're so happy to work with me And they're so excited to have this opportunity that I don't even need to start ACH because they have started to heal themselves just from the motivation. That's the way the subconscious mind works. That's MOS, the MOS. Anybody remember what MOS is from level one? Did you?
Minimal optimal service.
Yeah. Did you know you can press your space bar to talk? You don't need to find the little. Mine works that way. If I press the space bar, I can talk. So anyway, if I ask you a question like that in the future and you just want to shout it out. But anyway, that was right. Minimum optimum service. That's ACH is minimum optimum service because it's not the usual therapy model, which is 6, 12 visits, whatever, right? So ACH itself is an MOS, but now we're going to MOS the MOS. Because if we just use ACH, it's not quite MOS because we're still just in a problem territory. But now we're going to do MOSing of the MOS, which is how it becomes very fast by doing nothing. Here's some more visuals of what I'm talking about. This is what a session looks like to me. This is what a session looks like to me. This is what a session looks like to me. Sometimes I feel like people are getting on the space shuttle with me and we're going on a little space shuttle and then we land and they're different. And they're like, where did we go? And I'm like, I don't know. They're like, oh, it's different. Okay, great. Perfect. Now you can get off the shuttle and go on. This is what it feels like to me sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel this way of like, oh, we're just going through it. Sometimes I feel like, ooh, here's a sharp edge and another sharp edge and another sharp edge. But like, I know it's getting spacey now and let's do a demo in a moment. But when I go into people's subconscious or they come into mine, I have all kinds of feelings like this sometimes, like this sometimes, like this sometimes, like this sometimes. That's not ACH. That's something else. It's a felt sense. It's hard to teach a felt sense, and I'm going to try my best this afternoon. But for now, I just want you to have this perspective that the questions are not a felt sense. They're a tool that undoes knots, which is cool. We need it because when they present you with a knot, well, what are you going to do? You need to solve it. So it's very fucking important to solve people's knots. But if it's all you do, you're going to miss this picture, which is who they are, which is why it's so special to have their time. Okay, so we're going to do a demo now. You do not need to depend on the questions. Okay, so I've told you hundreds of times to start with what's the problem. We're not going to start with what's the problem anymore. We're going to use a whole different perspective. Okay, I'm going to just pause for questions and then I'm going to do a short demo and then we'll have a break. Did you guys follow? I couldn't see you all for the whole thing. So, yep, Patrick?
Yeah, can I just it's not a question, can I just comment?
Yep.
Like I think like just now a lot of what you said, like you talk about the black belt, then you talk about surfing, and so it just reminds me of Bruce Lee.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Mhm.
Yeah, like his famous quote is
A punch is
be
a punch and a kick is a kick. I know.
oh no, he said, be water, my friend, be water, my friend,
Be water, my
be
friend.
your
Yeah.
mind, be formless, shapeless like water.
I know that
Be
just gave me chills. It's so,
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I know. I know. Thank you, Patrick, for reminding me of that. And like, gosh, it's like makes me tear up a little bit because it's so powerful to be able to say we're reaching a higher level of experience than methodology. Like, how do you convey that? How do you become qualified for that? Like, that's a very interesting, deep, personal journey. And like, it makes me cry a little because I'm like, really? Am I the person on the screen right now that's telling them to like learn to flow like water? Like, I'm not Bruce Lee. I'm not at that level of prowess or whatever. But like, that's what the high level spiritual, people are telling us is like, be love. Like that's Mother Teresa, right? Like be loved, don't judge. Be that person that when they come in front of you, they're enveloped. Oh, it's really going to make me cry. They're enveloped in safety. Like there's no skill for that. It's just a way of being. And so when you're developing your brand, that's what people are learning to trust is that that's you.
He put the whole quote in the remarks.
Oh, thank you so much. Can you read it?
Empty your mind, be formless, shapeless, just water. You put water into a cup and it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Bruce Lee.
That gave me some major chills. Thank you, Patrick. But yeah, it's like when I'm with my clients, and like really, I'm a great person to be teaching you this because I am not a trained therapist. I did not come from a background of hypnosis or anything. I just happen to be great at ACH. And like I'm really confident to tell you that my my product is getting so fast that I can't even keep up with it. Like the sessions end before I'm done. You know what I mean? Like I schedule the 2 hours and they're like 65 minutes in. We're sitting there like, wow, that was weird. And I feel that way. Wow, that was weird. And so what I'm trying to tell you is to me, that feeling and that experience is like entering on the into this capsule, and inside of the capsule is the magic. And all we need to do is be in it. How do we get in it together? Because that's where the transformation is. So that's all I'm teaching this weekend is not which question to ask, but how to get into the capsule. Like, how do you load yourself onto the shuttle and take the client with you without without any snag, without any pulling, without any forcing, without any intention behind it? Why do you have to resist all of that forcing, pulling, inviting, trapping? Why?
You're putting pressure on yourself and on the client.
But what does that, yes, that's the right answer, but what does that do to the client? When you pressure yourself, what happens inside of the capsule?
Well, we tend to mirror each other.
Yeah, we tend to mirror each other.
Uh,
So if I feel pressure, they feel pressure. That's right. Yeah, it's mirror neurons. Does anybody remember the expression that I used? Michelle, Debbie, Sky, Jim, Patrick from level one. What is that thing that is so important to avoid? What is the thing to avoid? It's like a trick question. What is the thing that we're avoiding? It's a two-word answer. Anybody? Oh, come on. You guys need to know this. This is essential 101 level.
Resistance.
What?
Tension, resistance.
Nope.
I mean, I know that's not a two-word answer, but that's what comes to mind that we're trying to avoid.
Yeah, but did you say resistance?
Yes,
Yeah.
tension and resistance.
Tension and resistance. Yes. And what is the hypnotic phrase for that?
Conscious versus subconscious.
No. It's very important for you guys to all know this. I should make a slide about it. Psychotic insight. What is psychotic insight? Very important, like super important. This is the most important part of today.
they realize what you're trying to do
Exactly. Who said that?
at
That's
a level. It doesn't have to be conscious, but
Ex
they react to something.
exactly. Psychotic insight is any amount of the clients being in any way doubtful, suspicious, skeptical, or even alerted to what's happening. So, like, for example, when people sit in my chair, because I have a live office and sometimes people come live, and I have what's it called? One of these, you know, thingies that you write on. I notice sometimes that when I take out my pen, Their eye goes from me to the pen to watching me to watching what I write down. So like what's happening there is their subconscious is tracking that I'm tracking them. That's bad. That's very bad. Because, and by the way, I do it in a certain way now that's casual enough that I can manage it, but I write down next to nothing for one thing because there's no point anyway. But sometimes I need to. What I'm trying to say is anytime you suggest to them, hey, I'm the therapist and I'm going to help you, what does their subconscious do?
They become suspicious. What do you see? Are you
Uh-huh.
seeing me naked?
Exactly. Yeah. What is she
Maybe
writing down? Is there something wrong with me? Why did she write that down? You know, like, or sometimes you'll see a therapist do something like this. They'll get their pen out and do like, or like, you know, this kind of thing or this kind of thing. What is that telling the client? She's nervous. She's thinking something's wrong with me. She's evaluating me. Look at it right now. It's just a different feel than when I'm just sitting here neutral. Or, for example, sometimes when I'm dealing with children and they say something cool, I'll be like, really? Tell me more. And I'll come up into the screen. Because then they feel like, oh, she wants me. She wants to get close to me. But then sometimes when somebody says something to me that's really weird or negative, I'm like, and then I'll lean all the way back. And I mean, I do those things on purpose, but see, they're all triggering psychotic insight because now the client is thinking, something's happening. There's a reaction going on. So sometimes you can use it to your advantage, but what I'm trying to say right now is the opposite, which is don't invite any psychotic insight because you don't know where it's going to go. If you don't know where it's going to go, then you don't want to mess with it. All you want is to be that thing I said at the beginning when I showed the picture of myself, which is chill, relaxed, nothing to evaluate, just trust, total trust. So psychotic insight is what we're trying to avoid, which is telling the client that we've begun.